balance of a pay-to-play situation, that's our primary concern, that would permit school districts to simply cancel programming if fundraising goals are not met. So families who spend the most will receive the programming that they choose to contribute to at the expense of other programming. So consider, if you will, the Title IX implications of such a mechanism, not to mention the inconsistencies in programming that might occur, since school districts would now have to budget 2 years ahead for single activities, potentially. I also want to add a personal note. I'm from Detroit originally. I attended Detroit Public Schools, 13 years, K through 12. I was raised by a single mom. If you were to divide our student population into the haves and the have-nots, I was definitely a have-not. And because of field trips, I was afforded some of the same opportunities that my well-off friends had. Opportunities like the Detroit Symphony Orchestra and national tours of Broadway shows at the Fisher Theater. You don't know Detroit, but if you do. In addition to every fifth grader's highlight of the year, which was the trip to the Toronto Science Center by a train. I would never have had those opportunities outside of school growing up. So as we come to all of this, while I was not the one who initiated the field trip discussion 4 years ago in our community, I can tell you that this is the spirit with which East Greenwich pursued changes to its field trip policy. After the years-long discussion in our community of field trip fees, it became very clear that we could not address field trips without also addressing fundraising. So even before RIDE issued its advisory to us, we knew that we could not charge fees for field trips, but what could we do? So we applaud you, Chairman, and the committee, for leading the charge in clarifying this crucial piece of this field trip puzzle, which is what can and cannot districts do in terms of raising funds. So we ended up outlining a fundraising mechanism in our field trip policy alongside of a fundraising policy, and we've included those policies in our written testimony to you that we hope you'll consider as you pursue this legislation, because you will continue to hear, as we have, no one who has wanted to go on a field trip has ever been left behind. That may be true, that no student who's come forward asking for financial assistance to go on a field trip was ever denied, although that's difficult to prove, and anecdotally I've heard otherwise. It's also true, however, that many more students wanted to go on a field trip but did not ask, out of shame, out of embarrassment, or just for reasons of privacy. I've spoken with many families in our community for whom this is true. In addition to the students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, we have students whose families are experiencing short-term or even short-term temporary financial hardships, job loss, catastrophic illness, families who are used to being part of the haves but are now part of the have-nots, and they don't want to self-identify themselves as such. They're too embarrassed to do so. We live in a small town, right? To even have to identify yourself to a teacher or a principal, it's a small town. So the key here is that no child or their family should be put in a position to have to ask. And we've also heard that because of the RIDE advisory, schools are now prohibited from asking for money. We know that this is true, but we also recognize the need for clarification on this point. So we fully support amended versions to address some of the issues that we've spotted that can result in some of these unintended negative consequences. In our written testimony to you, we've identified them in greater detail. We've suggested some amendments. We've also, in anticipation of the hearing, spoken with the ACLU and RIDE and legal services, who have all spotted the same issues, and RIDE in particular has expressed the desire to collaborate going forward. So it would be disingenuous of me to testify today to say that we've implemented our policies without a hitch, but the bumps that we've encountered in the implementation highlight the need for clear legal language in addition to clear guidance in implementation, so that our administrators can really take a lead, a strong lead, as we put these policies into practice. So again, we thank you very much for the opportunity to share our practical experience with you, and we hope we can contribute in a meaningful way to the solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Musella.